and all to
Wait,
what?
what?
Sports. You did the hands this time. I'm rubbing off on you.
Well, I did it like a choir
Conductor.
director. Yes.
You are the conductor, I will have to say. And I am your second. This is the conductor.
Amy.
I am her co-conductor, Gina. And over on the boards, we have our coal shoveler.
Dr. Robinson.
You know why I call you that, right?
Yeah.
Because you do all the hard work.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, you get your hands dirty.
On that note, proceed.
Meanwhile, we are doing the intellectual lifting.
Exactly. You do the physical part. You know, you're the muscle of the card. You're the muscle of the operation.
Okay, you were about to say cartel.
I was going to.
So anyways.
Yes. So last time we talked about the offensive side of the football. Today we're going to talk about the defensive side, and we're also going to talk about the returns team as far as the people that are not the kickers.
Yeah,
we
the
talked about the
special
kickers,
teams,
the special teams. We're going to talk about the returns players on the special teams. Because
Right.
last episode we talked about just the kickers.
Yeah, we just talked about the kickers, not the other special team members that are not part of the offense or defense
Right.
line.
Got it.
Yes.
So where are we going to start? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, we did that. We did the names. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. The phone timer's just kicking in.
Have we said it's been a long week yet? It's been a long week.
I don't think we can emphasize that enough. Like, but go ahead. So
But that's okay, because days like today where we get to come in and we get to pick on Eli, Sashay, Shantae, 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 Shantae.
come on, Bo. Let your body move
So-
to the music. Sorry, I had to get the whole
Completely
lyric
different
out.
song.
It is, but I just had to.
So, you know, just getting to pick on Dr. Robinson like that, which, by the way, I just wasted all that because he's completely not paying any attention.
He has no idea what's going on. Anyway,
Anyways,
we know. We know.
football.
I
Yeah.
did that on purpose.
Yeah, but you missed the opportunity to ding us in your face.
He can't do a retroactive ding.
He's childish.
Anyways.
That's two dings. You know, the one I forgot, then,
One ring-a-dingy,
yeah.
two ring-a-dingies. Anyways, defensive players.
Yes.
Where do you want to start?
Everywhere, because I know so much about the offense because that's who you always hear about when they're talking about it. But I don't know really much about. I mean, obviously,
Okay.
I know what they do.
So, there's probably at least one big name on the Browns team that you know that is a defensive player.
Okay, who? Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Ha yes.
I was going to be like, the biggest guy on the team.
Like, come on, Gina. Come on, Gina.
The guy that they always show shirtless.
Which I will never complain about.
Yes, Myles Garrett. He's on the defense.
Okay.
Ward is on the defense.
Oh, okay.
Those are our two biggest names on the defense. Okay.
What about Jadeveon Clowney?
I've heard of Clowney. In comparison,
In comparison, Ward.
and Garrett,
Garrett.
are who you hear about
But
the
they've
most.
also been with the team longer than Clowney. So, anyways.
Yes.
Myles Garrett is a defensive end.
Okay.
Okay. He, their job, if you want to put it this way, is to try to get the sack.
So
Now
where
they have other jobs, but like that's like,
their
that's
main-
the thing that you know them for.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. So I'm actually going to back up a little bit and go back to the tackles,
Yes.
only because this is kind of going from the inside to the outside of the defensive line.
Perfect. I like that. So that way I can visualize it.
Right. So the defensive line, the inside of it are your tackles or guards.
Okay.
Okay. They'll be called either. Okay. There are two of them, right and left. But depending on the scheme, a guard may be lined up almost nose to nose with the center. It has a
Oh.
special name. What do you think this might be?
A nose back? A nose
Tackle.
a nose tackle. Okay.
You
I-
hadn't even gotten that far in writing things down on your notes
no,
yet,
I
had you?
wasn't. You kept pointing at your nose like I didn't know if this
Nose,
meant the
yes.
name or the
So your nose, you had that part right, but you didn't have the position part right. But yeah.
anyway.
Anyways,
It's
so
all
your
right.
nose guard, your nose tackle is the guy who may be lined up nose to nose
With the center.
with the center
Got it. Okay.
because they're nose to nose.
Quite literal.
Yes. And then there's usually another guard to either their right or left.
I didn't realize that there was a guard and a tackle on both sides, offense and defense. I did not know that.
So there are offensive guards and defensive guards.
Okay,
So
cool. Makes sense.
that's that's why it's also weird because it's also the guards in defense are also the tackles, whereas in offense it's two different positions. So, but depending again on the scheme, depends on where they'll line up.
Right.
Depending on what they're trying to accomplish. And their job is to push that pocket for the quarterback.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if we actually described the pocket in the last episode.
Not
I don't
quite.
think we fully did. That's probably one of those other terms that I should, write down that we need to define.
Yeah. The pocket.
But the pocket, without giving you a, concrete technical definition, is the area in which the quarterback passes from. There's a certain amount of space that he can use on the field. And that's what is guarded by his offensive line to keep him safe.
Got it.
And the job of the defensive guards is to
break through
or push the pocket, even push those players into the quarterback.
Ah, okay. Got it.
Make the pocket smaller that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then you have the ends.
Which are quite literally at the ends of that little section of people.
So if you think about the defensive line, basically you've got your two guards in the center,
right,
and then your two ends next to them.
Okay.
The defensive ends again aren't like the offensive ends where they are at the end of the line.
Mm-hmm.
I
was taking it too literal.
Yeah. The defensive ends, they line up right outside those guards.
Right.
Actually, it does say they officially form the end of the line, although you can have other players on the line as well. Their job is to attack the passer, get that sack.
Got it. Okay.
That's why Myles Garrett is like a dog on a scent when it comes to that quarterback.
Got it. Okay. So in this scenario, your tackles and your guards are trying to get that pocket to break or like push in, and then your ends is coming in to try to get the sack.
And usually they're going around the sides of that pocket.
I don't have anything to write with. Kevin.
If you
One ringy dingy. One ringy dingy. I'm ringing the bell on Eli. I don't have a bell over here, but he's sitting over there watching something on his NFL pass.
Actually, I was watching my fantasy football.
Okay, so anyways, he's watching his fantasy football rankings and doing a celebration dance, which Gina actually should have picked up a phone and recorded rather than throwing a pen at Eli.
I just saw it. I didn't know what was happening, but
Please
he was
don't
distracting
throw that pen at me.
I won't.
Or at Eli.
No, that's my pen. I will throw it.
It's mine now.
I was going to say, you got a highlighter you can throw.
I do. This might hurt more, too. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyways.
I won't throw your pen.
No, it hurted it.
Anyways, their secondary job is to contain runners. So that running back, if it's not a pass, and therefore there's no reason for them to go for the sack,
right?
They fall back and they try to stop the running back from getting through a hole.
Got it. Okay. So they're almost like sewing up the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The faster of the guards is usually on the right side of the defensive line, which equals the left side of the quarterback or of the offensive line.
Okay.
So if you view the defensive line from the quarterback position, the left side end is usually the faster because most quarterbacks are right-handed. Their left-hand side is the... Come on, it was a big movie.
Oh, no, I'm missing it.
Blind side.
Oh.
Like she acted like she would know that what I was going to do, and she's like, if the left side is the, and I was like, the blind side, and she's like,
My brain just went,
Did your little Homer just walk out of your brain?
It did. He's back now.
So anyways.
His name is Frank.
So, the left side is the blind side of the quarterback.
Okay.
Usually, most quarterbacks are right-handed. And therefore, you would have the right side end be the quarterback, or the faster, because then he can run up behind
And
the
get 'em.
blind side of the quarterback where it's harder
Oh.
for the quarterback to see and guard against.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes perfect sense to me.
So, interesting thing to note, all of your line people
Hmm.
have start position for their play of either being a 3-point or a 4-point start position before the play.
What's that mean?
So each hand, each foot is a point of contact with the
Oh,
ground.
got it. Okay.
So when you see them on the line and they're hunched down and they've got one hand on the ground in front of them, that's a 3-point stance.
Got it.
Both hands in front
It's
of
a
them
4-point
is a
stance.
4-point stance.
Okay. Okay. Now, why is that? Is it just so that, like, they can generate the power to push off?
I know we're talking about defensive positions right now. I just want to announce Nebraska just fired their head coach, and he have the first black head coach in Nebraska history.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So, sorry.
I was going to say, it's cool, but we're not. I love you, Eli.
It was breaking news.
I was
Sorry.
going to say, but we're for the novice who doesn't
We haven't even
necessarily-
gotten to college football yet.
and who doesn't necessarily pay attention to current events, is just trying to figure out what the heck's going on the field. But we will eventually talk to about college football.
Don't make that face.
College football is not my favorite type of football, but
Because we love you all
I
and we
freaking
cover
love it.
all sports, we're going to talk about it at some point.
we will talk about it because it is a weird thing where there's this step in between high school and professional football.
Let's go college. Just has a name, okay?
No, you didn't let me finish the sentence.
Oh, okay.
That has slightly different rules and setups than either the high school or the professional game. The high school game, the professional game tend to have the same rules and setups.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting.
Aside from a couple of variations, mainly because the NFL pays for a
I'm
lot
going to
of
say sponsors
equipment,
most of that. Yeah.
for local schools and things, especially at this point, and definitely pays for and sponsors for a lot of local Pop Warner leagues and things. So kids are taught NFL style football very young.
Yes.
But anyways, so linebackers. So this next part of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, know anything about linebackers?
They're big.
They are big.
They're probably the biggest people on the team. And they do the majority of the blocking.
So, yes, so your backers are probably only in size
Mm-hmm.
smaller than your offensive linemen.
Yeah. Which, well, that's not exactly small, but yeah.
So you have several different types of linebackers.
Okay.
You have your middle linebacker.
Middle. Okay, he's in the middle.
He is in the middle. He's a backer because they are slightly behind those linemen. So they're not necessarily lined up right on the line of scrimmage.
Oh, okay.
Your linebacker is going to be close to the quarterback position if you're looking at both sides being offense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's slightly behind the line and in the center.
Okay.
Your middle linebacker is right there in the center. He is considered the quarterback of your defense.
Okay.
He's also known as the inside linebacker. So you can hear those terms interchanged.
Okay, so the quarterback of the defense or the inside.
So middle linebacker and inside linebacker interchangeable.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So he would be the quarterback of the defense.
Okay. Which makes sense.
He's your primary defensive play caller. He's the one on the defense that has the helmet.
That makes the sounds.
That makes the sounds.
That makes the talkies.
Yes. His primary job is to stop the running back.
Okay.
He's also got pass protection for up the middle passes.
Makes
Okay.
sense. So he would be the one that would be catching Hunt.
Yeah. So yes, Chubb more than likely because Hunt usually goes to the outside.
Okay, I couldn't remember who did
But
what, but he'd be the
Chubb,
one.
yeah, who
Whoever
would-
goes up the middle,
yeah.
he would be. That's his
He would
main
be-
guy.
He'd be sitting there trying to like literally create a wall. Okay?
Right.
I am a wall. Hmm.
Think wall. Think big. Think strong. Eli's like, what?
What the heck was that?
It's a literal wall. He's supposed to be like. He's supposed to be big and scary.
I mean, I may watch a little bit too much anime, but anyways, look.
You are a teen. You do work kids with kids,
Yeah.
and that's the big thing now. So
But he's also a blitz play rusher, and we'll get into what a blitz play is.
I'm glad you
later.
already knew. I can't. When we get video in here, you guys will see the looks on my face. It just go. She has no idea what's going on. We'll get to it, Gina. Don't worry. I'm not going to leave you out in the cold. It's funny. I never knew how clueless
Either that, or I can read your face because I've known you for so long. I mean,
True.
I gotta say, Gina and I became friends like literally within 5 minutes of knowing each other.
Most random. Most random.
About 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you hang out with somebody so often, you learn what their face is. It may not be obvious to anybody else, but I could see her eyes start to go. And she, she's like,
Damn glasses.
don't know what this is. But yeah, so when they're working on a blitz play, which the name of the play comes from the Blitzkrieg.
Okay.
Do you know what the Blitzkrieg
You
is?
already, again, you know the answer to this question before you asked it.
The Blitz during World War II.
Oh, okay. I know that.
Okay, so
Is that what it was like officially
the
called?
yes, the Blitzkrieg. That's
Blitz-
what
Oh,
that's
that's what
the
they're
German room.
saying.
Y-
Blitzkrieg. Oh, okay.
the German word for it. It's that unexpected nighttime bombing from the
Yeah,
Germans.
I never
on
knew the full
London.
name. Okay.
Okay. So a blitz play is when, generally speaking, when you decide that you're going to take all of your defensive players and try to rush towards the quarterback as fast as you can.
Like, so the whole line just goes.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes perfect sense. Okay.
Blitz!
So when I hear that, I know what they're talking about.
Right.
Got it.
It's a sudden, unexpected rush.
Does it happen a
basically.
lot?
Yeah. I mean, several times a game usually, depending on, what part of the seasons we're in and what kind of
Okay.
team you're playing, and especially if you're playing like a pass-heavy team. So like a lot of teams would try to blitz Peyton a lot.
Yeah.
So, outside linebacker.
He's on the outside.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, so you have your guards or tackles in the middle.
Okay, so you got the middle linebacker,
Right.
right? So
I'm just trying to work through all the
yeah.
positions. But
so
okay, you got
the
your middle linebacker.
who's not on the line, but he's behind it.
Right.
Right in the middle. You'll have your guards and tackles. Sometimes they're lined up actually more towards the center than the sides.
Got it.
And then you have
Your
your ends. And then your outside linebackers are outside the ends, but in the backfield,
Okay, got it.
in the defensive backfield.
Okay.
And they are also known as strong or weak sides.
I've heard
yeah.
that term. Yes. Okay.
So I usually hear, you'll hear about a strong safety or a weak safety or something like that. But
Right.
with linebackers, there's a strong outside linebacker and a weak side outside linebacker.
So is the strong side the dominant side of the quarterback, and the weak side is the blind side? Oh.
So it has to do with where the tight end is lined up.
Oh. Yeah, I
so
was way
strong
off.
side linebackers, and you were good. I mean, it was a good idea. Strong side linebackers are lined up against the tight end.
Okay.
Okay. And the weak side is used to blitz or cover the running backs on pass plays.
Okay.
Usually speaking, your tight end is usually lined up on your quarterback's right side.
Okay.
So your strong side will be
On the left
Located on
of theirs.
located on the left side of the defensive line.
Okay.
But then the weak side can also come around to the blind side of the quarterback on a blitz.
Okay.
So now we get to our backs.
I know there's a cornerback.
I was going to say, we've had the discussion about the cornerback.
And the whole he's a band thing.
The nickelback part, yes. Which depends on what kind of play they're playing
Right,
and all that.
right.
So your defensive backs are your secondary.
Okay.
Okay. They will be referred to as the secondary.
Secondary, okay.
They are actually even behind your linebackers.
So you got tackles and ends, middle linebacker, outside linebacker, and then the cornerbacks are behind the outside linebackers?
So they're even further out on the sides of the field.
Oh.
But think about, as I said, your guards and ends are on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Your backers are slightly behind them.
Right.
The cornerbacks are slightly behind them.
Got it. Okay. Almost like a pyramid.
Yes.
All right.
It's like a flying V. With the middle linebacker pulled back for some reason.
The moment you said, it's like a bow and arrow. Like
Yes.
he's like the arrow,
Yes.
and they're the bow.
Yes.
I thought flying nun when you said flying V. Don't know why. And I can see with Sally Field.
Do you see what I'm working with, people? Do you see what I'm working with?
So random. Okay, go ahead. I got it. Flying V or bow and arrow. Okay.
So, they are behind the linebackers and near the sidelines.
Okay.
And sometimes they'll be
little bit
inside
further
near
in.
that, closer to the outside linebackers. Sometimes they're further out to the line, depending on where the wide receivers are lining up.
That makes sense with where the wide receivers are. Okay. So that's their man.
Their job is to do those open field tackles.
Got it. Okay.
So while your linebackers are looking for your running backs and they're trying to get them while they're in the middle of the pack,
Mm-hmm.
your cornerbacks and the rest of your defensive backs are all looking for the pass play or for the running back that's made it through the pile.
Got it. And they're the ones who are supposed to tackle that person.
They are doing the open field tackles. They're the ones who,
Intercept.
we have to really watch out
Right.
how they're tackling. Because, again, with the way NFL rules are now, you have to tackle in certain ways in order to make it an official tackle.
Right.
So those are the ones that are being scrutinized a lot.
Those are the ones who are also being looked for holding and stuff like that, right?
Well, everybody's being looked at for holding because
yeah.
the line of scrimmage, you get a lot of pulling on jerseys.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
But these are the guys that they're going to get the what's that penalty called, Eli? The one where pass interference. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I needed was a look.
You don't have to worry about turning your mic on.
Eli's like, I had to do thumbs up
This
to
was
that.
great.
So anyways, so they're the ones who are likely to get a pass interference call.
Okay.
Okay. So you get in those defensive backs, you have the cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to think of him as the wide receiver in reverse.
Okay. Because they have to be just as fast, right?
They have to be just as fast. First of all, he's always going to start off running backwards.
Yeah, because we got to watch what's going on.
He's running backwards and
That's
trying to
crazy.
run backwards as fast as the tight ends and wide receivers
Listen,
running
I
at
can't
him.
walk forward most days. I can't imagine having to be fast and run backwards at the same time.
Okay.
It's like walking and chewing gum.
And he has to be just as fast as the wide receiver if he's going to block that pass.
Right.
Okay. So on running plays, okay,
Mm-hmm.
his job is to redirect the running back who's maybe come to the outside to go back in towards the linebackers and the middle linebacker specifically, or out to the sideline where he will be
Out of bounds.
Yes.
Ha ha. Okay.
Okay. So, that's that situation of like Hunt when he tends to go out to the side. The cornerback is going to look and be like, this much.
Sir.
Well, I could always use my dad's.
What's that?
Sun Beach.
I'm using it. Get ready, Dr. Robinson.
This Sun Beach.
Sun Beach.
Some bitch.
You were so quiet. I'm so nice. Okay, go ahead.
So, yeah, the cornerback is looking at Hunt like,
Dude,
I really don't want to
throw out there.
Am I going to be more successful getting you out of bounds or back in towards my linebackers?
Right.
And that's basically like his whole thought process during a running play is where am I meeting the runner and which direction am I trying to herd him?
Right.
Basically, at this point, he's acting like a sheepdog.
Oh, gotcha. So that's the cornerback. Okay.
Okay. In the passing game, he's trying to disrupt the play by swatting the ball away,
Right.
interception, or tackle.
Okay. So I would say, that leads me to a question. Is it harder to be a cornerback or a wide receiver?
I mean, I don't know.
Let me answer that. Yes.
Dr. Robinson would like to interject here.
Paging Dr. Robinson. Opinion, please.
I think it's hard to be a cornerback because wideouts usually burn. Like, if you're a good wideout,
Wideout?
I'm sorry, wide receiver.
Okay. Don't forget who you're talking to. Don't
Hold
forget who's.
on, I think we actually talked about that in the last
Did we talk about a
episode.
wide out?
Yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, it's to cover a wide receiver that's 6'4", 6'5", and normally cornerbacks are like 6 foot or either like 5'8" or 5'9".
Why would they be shorter?
I don't know.
Probably because again,
Speed.
these guys are the wide receivers in reverse. So they've taken the taller guys to be the wide
receivers. Okay.
And then they looked at the guys who were almost as good, almost as tall, and said, "Hey, how good are you at running backwards?"
Right.
And doing all the things that they do just backwards.
How good is your agility?
Yeah.
Yep.
How well can you be Ginger Rogers?
And Fred Astaire.
Yep.
It is very much a dance.
It is.
Proceed. I'm sorry.
No, that was good.
No, that was good. That was good.
That was helpful.
Then you have the safeties, and they're actually even further back.
I've heard of the safeties.
Jack,
Okay.
They're further into the backfield.
All right.
They are closer to the middle of the line, but into the backfield.
Okay.
Okay. You've probably heard free safety,
Yes.
but there's also a strong safety.
May have heard that, but okay.
So your safeties are your last line of defense. These are the guys who specialize in the deep ball coverage because they're already sitting back there.
Right. They're like the
sitting back there-
outfielders.
They're sitting back there and they're like, okay, where's this ball going to come? And they're watching the receivers for what routes they appear to be running. And this is where they can get in trouble because if they watch and the receivers
Change
jig
up on
one
'em.
way and then go the other way, they can get all cross-legged. And, I've actually seen guys tangled up in their own legs. So,
I can see why that would happen, though.
yeah, I mean, generally speaking, they can get themselves rewrited pretty easily unless, there's field condition issues.
Yeah. Like there was today. For some places.
Yeah. Had we been playing here, it would have been a wet field.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how wet the field is.
Yeah.
Or more likely snow, ice, that kind of stuff. Which, being a northern team, we have to think about.
Yeah, facts.
But they also try to train for these things. What we like to see is our guys being able to do these changes without falling. But teams that are coming in from other parts of the country, a.k.a. Texas, Florida, places where they don't worry about snow and ice, not being able to find their footing
They get
in
messed
the snow
up.
and ice.
Got it.
So your strong safety is usually closer to the line of scrimmage, so he may be further towards the line than the other safeties.
Okay.
Maybe even in line with the cornerbacks.
Okay.
Okay. And he is mainly out there for the running plays.
Okay.
And generally speaking, he's on the tight end side of the line.
Got it.
So at that point, he is just watching for the runner that's made it through
That's punched through.
the pile. Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have your free safety.
Mm-hmm.
Free safety is your fastest player on the defense.
Oh, okay. So he's even faster than the cornerback,
Yes.
possibly.
Possibly.
Okay.
So he is your deep pass guy.
Got it. Okay. So he's the one, like, when they catch it back there, he's right there. Boom.
Yeah, or he's the one who's trying to do that interception that's all the way back there.
Got it. Okay. When they're trying to pass it into the end zone, he's like, got it. Okay.
So those are your main defensive players.
Okay.
Now, any of your defensive players are going to be trying to intercept the ball.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you how funny it is when the middle linebacker winds up with the interception. And then he tries to run it. We've had a couple of pick sixes where, the middle linebacker is the one who's, like, jumped up, grabbed the ball.
And like, tried to take off with it.
And takes off with it. And a pick six is when they actually make it to the end zone.
Oh, so that's what that means.
Yes.
Okay. I've heard of that term.
So you picked and you got 6.
Oh, there's that logic again. I'm knocking on the door.
So, pick 6, but like I said, that middle linebacker catches that ball.
I mean, they're trying to get yards, so I guess it makes sense.
Right. You should see how winded they are when they make
Poor
it
babies.
more than 10 yards.
Poor babies. Well, that's like one of the, like, outside linebackers getting it and, like, trying to run the ball. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The middle guys are the outside guy, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all like...
You're just like, oh, you tried. Good effort. Good
Now,
idea.
Myles Garrett catching the ball
Right.
would have no problem. Although most of his muscle is there for the strength and not necessarily the endurance muscle. But, as long as he doesn't have to run more than 20, 30 yards, he's probably good.
Right.
But yeah, so like if your safety or your cornerback gets it, though, those are going to be longer interception returns if
Makes sense.
they make it for the pick 6.
Yeah.
Only because they're already so much further back than the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is that very often that you see, like, the safeties and the cornerbacks make those kind of plays? The pick 6? I mean, because there's I guess it depends on field position, too.
it depends on field position.
Yeah.
It really does. Though there are times when you have had interceptions that have gone back the entire field.
Right.
Or as I said, as far as a pick 6, I don't even call it a pick 6. I say, hey, he's taking it to the residence, back into the residence, or taking it back to the house.
Okay, but you're not a normal football caller on TV. The guys on TV call it a pick 6.
Remember, Eli, these are for people like me who are just watching the game, trying to make sure we make sense.
They will make reference sometimes to taking it to the house, especially if you're watching college.
Yeah.
The college players do, the college callers do call it the house a lot of times.
Okay. Well, as long as you know, that's the same thing as the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. But officially, it is a pick 6. It's part of the stats and everything.
Okay.
Just like there are stats for sacks. And we will get into what constitutes a sack and what doesn't at some point.
They want to eat? Is that what you're saying?
I know. Sack lunch. Sack.
Oh, okay.
Wedding crashers. Sorry.
I wish I had something else. I don't want to throw my highlighter. He won't give me back my highlighter. I need my highlighter.
Eli is just making funny faces at us over there. Just stop looking at him.
Yeah. Invisible. Pay attention to me.
Should have never given him that damn bell.
Hindsight is 20/20. But anyway.
So, there are lots of terms that we could get into based off of all of these positions. But do you have any questions?
I think I pretty much understand the layout and what each one. I mean, I think as long as you get the general idea of what their jobs are, because even within, I'm sure the defensive line, it still can change depending on the play and the scheme they're going with.
It depends on the scheme.
It also depends on the offense because they got to adjust to them.
The offense. So your defensive scheme plus the plays being called plus all these other things can make a world of difference as far as what it looks like, what it plays like,
Right. Who
who's
does
in charge
what?
of what. If you're doing man or zone defense,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff.
And man is when you're guarding a specific person. Zone is when you're guarding an area.
Yep.
Got it. I figured that out all by myself. Okay.
Eli, what's our time looking like?
We're at 35 minutes.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we can go into the special teams return side of the ball.
Well, it's not necessarily even just the return side of the ball. So these are all the non-kick related players.
Okay. That are on special team.
Yes.
Got it.
So we'll start with an easy one.
Okay. What you think might be easy.
Your kick returner.
He's the one that actually catches it and tries to run it in.
Yep.
Who can sometimes actually make it all the way across the field.
Yes. Josh Cribbs was known for that until people figured out how he did it, and then they started to game plan for it, and that's why his return numbers fell.
Got it.
It took, I think, 3 years for them to figure it out, but
so he had his own special way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Then you also have your punt returner.
Okay.
They can be two different players. They could be the same player.
Okay.
So again, both of them are the guys that are catching the kick. It just depends on if it's the kickoff or the punt.
Or the punt. Got it. Okay.
Your up back.
I
know. I read that and I was like Outback Steakhouse.
Man, my mind went out back too. I straight went there.
Up back.
Up back. Okay.
So, if you're watching them get ready to kick the ball, you'll see the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
You will see a player about 3 to 4 yards back from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the holder and the kicker
right
10 yards back.
Okay.
Okay. And the holder is 10 yards back, and the kicker's actually done his special little thing, and he's even further back.
Right.
Okay. And we'll talk about how the kicker gets positioned for the kick too. But your up back is that player that's about 3 to 4 yards back.
Okay.
Okay. And he is a blocker for the kicker, but he also acts as the caller for the kick play.
So he's almost like the quarterback of the special teams in that case.
In some ways, because basically what he does is the kicker gives him a signal.
Yeah.
That says that he's ready to
kick. Okay.
And the holder gives a signal that he's ready to catch the ball. And the guy that's close to the line, he's been watching them for their signal, and then he yells up to the snapper, snap, and they snap the ball
he's
back.
the middleman.
He's the middleman.
Got it. Okay, so he's behind the line of scrimmage, but in front of the holder and the kicker, or the punter, depending on who's out there. Got it. Okay. Middleman. That's how I'm going to refer to him. He's the middleman.
Right. So but the punter always catches his own snap.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a holder. So the punter isn't usually as far behind.
Mm-hmm.
So he just yells for the ball and they snap.
Okay.
But on a kickoff, you've got all these. Yeah.
So is Upbeck not out there on a punt?
He is. He's out there as just the blocker for the kicker.
Okay. So he blocks, but he also is kind of the guy who relays signals too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Signal. He's like the guy.
He's the air traffic controller.
At the airport.
I'm mad that we both did the arms. It's kind of habitual. You have to.
And the exits are here, everywhere.
To the front and to the back and the rear of the plane.
I'm surprised you didn't catch the genie reference.
What?
Aladdin.
What?
And the exits are here.
Oh,
here.
Okay, I'm there.
We've made Eli scrunchy his face. It's fun. Okay.
I didn't even know I was doing it.
Eli. These are terms that I had never heard before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So up back was one I had not.
Right.
But I definitely haven't heard these. So
Are they going to make me laugh?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll see.
I kind of figured out on my own what the first one is. But I know you're a football guy. You probably have heard of these, but they don't get called very often is what I'm going to assume. Now, I'm assuming that you're going to agree with me on it. The gunner.
The gunner.
I believe that is. You know what? I've never heard of that term before. As I don't in what kickoff.
It has to be
return?
something fast.
So on the defensive team, the return team,
Yeah.
or no, actually on the kicking team, it is the fastest player, and his job is to tackle the receiver.
Okay, got you.
The fastest player, and he's supposed to tackle. So whoever caught the ball, that's his job, is to stop
It's
that
to
person.
stop that person.
Oh.
He's the gunner. He's gunning
I
them
knew
down.
it had to do something with speed. I knew it had something
Well,
to do
and
with
he's
speed.
gunning down the receiver.
Got it.
That's
Okay.
his job. The jammer.
The jammer.
Ha ha! I have stumped the football dude. So
The jammer.
on the return team, he's the guy who is his job to clear the way
Oh, he jams everybody up.
for the receiver. So he is
Okay.
jamming
Okay.
the gunner.
So he's the one who's responsible for handling the gunner so the receiver can get up the field. Got it. The jammer. It's the worst wrestling name ever. It comes out just sorry. Continue.
Which, speaking of which, this is bad. Okay, before I got here, and I meant to save it on my phone, but I forgot to as I was doing things. On Facebook, there was a meme that came up. And, you know, they do these, like, mashups of people's photos every so often.
Yeah.
Razor Ramon and Michael Jackson. And, hold on, it was captioned, Razor Shamon.
The hair is the same, no? And it probably wasn't a really weird looking mashup
done.
either.
I'm done.
Are you about to get up and leave the story?
So anyways. Oh, come on, Eli. It wasn't even as bad as my dad joke.
Or the peanut butter jelly time. We're not going to do
Don't
it.
tempt us.
We're not going to do
Don't
it.
tempt us.
If you get up, I'll do it. There you go. Okay. So we got the gunner and the jammer.
Yes. So those are all of your particular special teams people.
Okay.
Okay. So back to the kickers,
Mm-hmm.
briefly. So your punter on those punt kicks, okay? Like I said, he sets up in a particular spot.
Yes.
He calls for the snap. He catches it. He drops. He kicks. Right?
Right.
When you're looking at having your long snapper out and your holder and your place kicker, there's a special setup for the kicker. And I forgot to talk about this last time. So if you watch the kickoffs or the field goals, point afters, all the things that you have a place kicker for,
Right.
you will see them set up the tee.
Right.
The holder is sitting there kneeling next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the kicker will stand at the tee and step certain number of steps back
And out.
to the side, one side or the other, depending on the kicker and everything, which leg is dominant and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes, I've seen
So
that.
just like you have dominant hands, you actually have dominant legs.
Yes, you do. I can agree with that statement.
And sometimes your legs will change dominance over the years if you have injuries and whatnot.
Right.
Or you have to manipulate your body to change dominant legs. But so it's always a really kind of, one of those things where if you don't know what's going on, you're like, why is he stepping? What is he doing out there?
Right.
Basically, he knows what his cadence is in that lead up to the kick.
Ah.
So he knows if he needs, how many steps back and to the side he needs to take in order to hit that ball the right way.
Got it. Okay.
So he's just kind of mapping it out.
So is it different for every kicker? Do you have to step back so much and out so far, or is it kicker dependent?
From what I've watched, observed, it's usually kicker dependent.
Okay.
Like if you've got longer legs, you're probably stepping further back.
Right.
And
I mean,
shorter
obviously you
legs or
probably can't
whatever.
go back but so far because you still need time to get up to the ball before
Right.
they.
But like as a kicker, it's not like you're strolling up to the ball.
Right. You're
You're
right.
running up to the ball, but you have a certain point where you're going to cock your leg back.
Yeah.
And kick it forward. So basically, you have to take all of the space that you know that you're going to need in order to do that. And hopefully, And the time it takes for you to get to the point where you're cocking your leg back, the holder already has the ball
Lined
sitting
up.
there lined up with the seams the right way and everything else.
Yeah. So I would imagine for the holder, it's very much a feel thing because you don't have time to necessarily look down. I mean, you can look real quick, but like you have to feel where those laces are and how to adjust the
And
ball.
what you're hoping is that
Snapper snapped it back.
snapped it back in the right orientation.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into that. Like, you guys almost have to be a very fine-tuned machine.
Which is why, like, your long snapper is not your normal center.
Yeah. That makes sense. Because he has to cover so much more distance.
Well, and not only that, but he has to have the specialized, it has to hit the hands of the holder in a particular way.
So he can go.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I always wonder. I see them go back, and I always thought they were, like, you could see them in their head counting, like, but I thought everybody pretty much did the same amount of steps back and out.
1, 2, 3, left 2, 3.
Oh, they're line dancing.
Like in Gina's head, she's like, okay, I know this one, the electric slide. But
I find rhythm in things, okay? Just let it happen.
Look, man, the next time you see a kicker do that, I would love, because, you know, they can make anything show up on the screen underneath the players.
Oh, my God. I know where you're going with this.
Okay, but I would love to see them, like, make little disco squares show up underneath the kicker. Come on, man!
Or like the Dance Dance Revolution arrows. Like, boom, boom, boom.
But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation to have as well. Please remember, while you're watching,
Yes.
the line on the screen that shows you what the line of scrimmage is and where the down is an imaginary line.
I know that now. For a long time, I thought it was like, how do they get the screen how do they get the line off the screen so quick, off the field so quick? Nobody trips on that?
It's a TV line.
I told my brother that one day. He just literally stopped and looked at me and said,
I remember.
"You think that line is real?"
See, here's the difference. And again, the difference possibly in age. I don't know. Eli may remember as well. Gina wasn't probably watching all that closely.
Or at all.
I remember the era before they had the lines on the screen. Eli, do you remember? Like watching it live.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay.
So how hard was it to follow if you didn't have the lines? Like, did you just kind of go by where the players were lined up?
No, you had to pay attention to
You had
the
to pay
chain
attention
gang.
to where the chains were on the
Yeah.
end of the field. And so the announcers were much more important for telling you where the down actually was.
Gotcha.
Because it's not like they could be tight in and you could tell what was going on.
And plus-
Yeah.
It's also why there was a lot more wider shots.
And plus, those lines are unofficial.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, they're still technically
Right.
unofficial.
Yeah.
They're imaginary lines.
Gotcha. it's really just for the visual,
that-
for the
that
viewers.
line tells you the range of where the football needs to be.
Okay.
They can still pull out the chains.
Yeah.
And it can be short by a half an inch.
Oh, because that's when you'll see the refs call the
That's
chains
when-
out onto
yeah.
the field.
Mhm.
So are the chains still in use during the actual gameplay, or is it just when the refs call for it?
No. So the chains, literally, as one end marker moves to where the line is,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other marker moves to the other end.
Yeah. Oh,
And then
okay.
they
physically move them down the. Oh, okay.
So the guys holding the markers are always holding the markers.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes sense. Don't shake your head at me. Every time I sat and watched the game with you had no idea, didn't know what was going on, did you?
No.
See,
I can fake the funk real well.
this is where, watching high school games from the sideline as a cheerleader
Mm-hmm.
is helpful
Yeah.
because I saw these things at the high school games.
But you know what? It's funny. I guess maybe in my head I didn't realize that the chains were still so important in NFL because you don't necessarily hear them refer to them as much as you do like in high school or college. Like in high school, all you hear them say is move the chains. But they don't use those terms as often in.
Well, that's because in high school there's no imaginary line on a TV screen.
True.
And
But I'm just saying, like, that's why I guess in my head in the NFL it wasn't something that was as big.
they move the chains all the time.
Yeah.
And again, pre-invisible line, commentators would talk about the chains a lot more.
So it makes me wonder, before the invisible line, how difficult was it to figure out the half an inch?
It's still the same way they do it now. Like, literally, the refs will look at a ball's placement.
Yeah.
And then they look at the ball, they look at where the guy with the chain is down at the end of the sideline.
Okay.
And there's, 2 sets of them. And
Right.
they're looking at that to see that marker.
Mm-hmm.
And if it lines up with the marker, the middle of the ball,
Yeah.
they're like, okay.
Are they kind of
Right?
eyeballing it?
They're kind of eyeballing it, which is why sometimes they'll have a coach throw a flag to challenge the placement of the ball.
Got it. Okay.
Or whether or not there actually was a down.
See, and I've always wondered how, like, that's what I'm saying, like, how they determine that, like, half inch or that quarter of an inch.
They pull the chains come out onto the field.
Yeah.
And the guy stands and he puts it where the line of scrimmage
So there's
was.
somebody, like, marking the ball.
And they pull the chain taut.
Okay.
And if the ball is sitting
Mm-hmm.
in line with that chain,
Yeah.
then it's down. If it's not all the way to the end of that chain, then it's, off by a half inch.
Gotcha. So it has to be completely clear of that marker in order to create a first down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it. And if it's really that much of a big deal, or if it's challenged, then that's when they'll go through all the rigmarole of bringing the chains out and doing all that stuff.
Right. Or if they can't really tell from where they are on the field, like if it's if the officials, especially if it's a big game, want more clarity because, it's a big game,
right?
And they will bring them out more often. I will say that there's probably times where the markers, because it's not going to change anything as far as a call goes, get used, but they probably were using them during a commercial break.
Yes, TV
so,
timeouts are quite often in football.
Yeah. So there are lots of things that could be happening during those TV timeouts and commercial breaks. So
Gotcha.
But yes, that is exactly how they figure it out with the chains and the actual chains.
Okay.
But yes, in the time before TV, there were in the time before computerized graphics,
right,
there were a lot of things that you did not see on the field, that you get to see on the field now.
Right. Which just makes it easier for somebody like me to
on
follow
TV.
along.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, try listening to a radio broadcast some point in time and figure out where the ball is.
Girl, I have tried. when I used to listen to it in the car with Eli, like I would just be like, they're so fast paced and so excited. I just be like, I don't even know what happened.
I love Jim Donovan and everything, but literally until I moved to Georgia, and I was having to watch on TV while I was at work, or I was having to watch on my computer while I was at work.
Yeah.
And there was, I think it was on ESPN, they had a graphic that literally just showed the field and showed a ball icon moving back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. That was when it clicked to me when Jim Donovan would say things like, and the Browns moving from right to left across your radio dial. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? And then all of a sudden it clicked on me that, like, if you were looking at the field, they are moving this particular way compared to that particular way. In my head, it doesn't necessarily matter, but some people are more concrete about, like, trying to get an idea of which way they're moving along the field.
Well, some people are just, like, visual in their heads. Like I am. That's why when you give me those examples, I'm like, oh, the middleman. Okay, I can see that. Or, the wingman. Okay, I can visualize that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I believe we're getting close on our time.
Yes.
So
we covered a lot.
We did. Although I'm certain we still have more questions out there to answer. Speaking of which, if you have questions, you can contact us
on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our Gmail. I will be posting some stuff. I will reiterate all of our contacts and links on our Wait What Sports page on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook. And you can listen on Spotify, Mixler, or Podbean. Wherever I would like to say wherever you get your podcast, but those are where you're going to get this podcast.
We haven't made it to the big times yet.
We're working on it. But on behalf of myself,
Amy,
Dr. Robinson,
you have been listening to, I just want to do it because I can do the hand motion now. Wait, what? Sports. See you next time, humans.